Hello and welcome to the South Fiordland Bush Flying Tour. Now, if you're new to me and this video series, check in the description below and there's a link to the episode of the series which will tell you all about it, where we are and where to get a copy of all of this scenery yourself. Probably a bit longer video today, which, thinking about it, is pointless for me to say, as you'll already know how long it is when you click on it, won't you? So yeah, look, anyway, as I've mentioned previously, while I was checking all this scenery, there were a few places that didn't survive the conversion from XP11 to 12. And the next one that we should have been going to is one of those that died. Now, I had used polygons to shape a lake in the mountains and build a runway there, which all worked quite well and it was a fun little airfield. But unfortunately it's the polygon on water things again. What was a hard surface polygon has sunk to the bottom of the lake, and the whole thing is water once more, so no chance of using that. It's very nearly on the way to the place that we'll be going instead, so it's easy enough to fly past and I'll show you where it was. So that's the water one here, but it's not here, but the next destination, which will be in the next video actually, that's where I discovered another polygon trick which doesn't seem to work in Explain 12. Now, if you imagine making a polygon with a texture for a runway on it, for instance, and then in the world editor, WED, when you're building the airfield, you put it in there as a rectangle shape, so it has 4 corners. Now, if you distort the shape of that rectangle and drag 2 of those corners too close to each other, depending on which ones and where, you can get the image to bend. And it's kind of like putting a crease in the middle of the runway, where it might be straight for half the length and then turn, say, 20 degrees to the right for the rest of the image. Now, that was a nice trick to save on the amount of polygons in the package, because 90 plus airfields and associated stuff all in one scenery, it's a big enough file size anyway, so if I could reuse a runway polygon and twist it into a different shape for an apron area, rather than making a brand new texture for that, then it helped a little bit. But what I've found is polygons don't seem to bend anymore and won't distort, which did make a mess of a few things. I have been able to tweak those so it's okay, but it's yet another thing that Explain 11 could do but Explain 12 can't. Scenery making may well be a little bit harder than it was in 11. So, just down there, well, that was the airport, and I think that's still got a runway by the look of things. As I mentioned, this is my first test flight since the conversion, so it's kind of like beta testing my own work, even though I have released it already. The airport has gone, the lake polygon has, but I've not deleted the runway polygon by the look of things. Must have forgot that. Never mind. But don't try and land there. The polygons are still visible from high enough altitudes, but when you start descending it will disappear. My guess is it's the same as like the trees only render fully and have shadows when you're quite close to them, so you see the annoying popping up of them. And fingers crossed that can be made much better over time, either by Lamina or more likely by third-party users. But I'm guessing that the water works the same, and from a distance it may well be a 2D thing again, so the runway polygon is on top and visible. And when you get closer, the lake renders to full 3D water, and then the polygon sinks to the floor of that lake and disappears. No ideal, but it's a plausible hypothesis for what's happening. Yeah, so that's where we would have been going in X-Plane 11. So I'll have to skip to the next destination, and the Fjord Tours brochure says we now head for a very special tourist attraction. The local landowner had wanted to build an arena to host a leg of the World Lasagna Eating Championships, but the plan failed because the championship rounds always have a strict starting time of 7 PM. But before finding this out, the landowner had begun cutting down trees to build an airstrip. Now, a guy in America once claimed to have found an image of Jesus in some tree rings, but the landowner here found a much more exciting image in the rings of a tree which he had cut down, and you will surely be the envy of all of your friends when you get to tell them that you have now been here to see it in person. Yeah, tree ring Jesus was okay, but I thought dog's arse Jesus was more convincing, to be honest. Right, so the runway then. The second half of it is slightly uphill. The first half of it, that's very definitely uphill. This is the kind of place where you land with a positive rate of climb. Now, it's not the hardest thing to land at in South Fjorden, but yeah, really anything that you can get down and still have a working aircraft, just be happy with that. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that seemed okay. Yeah, for a landing at this one, I'm certainly happy enough with that. It's actually a better landing than I've done at some flatter runways during this series so far. Yeah, as I say, this is the more level part. You kind of get an appreciation once you go over this edge of just how much downhill this really is. If it was snowing, you could certainly ski down here. Down to this apron bit, waiting area and stuff there, but we've not come for those. We've come for the tree. The David Hasselhoff from Baywatch tree. It's magnificent, isn't it?